Hey everybody, it's Kerry here with the week ahead look for June 14th through the 20th. So welcome to this. Last week, I don't know, you guys, I just didn't feel awesome about my video. I don't know why. I came out of it feeling like, oh, this is getting formulaic and whatever. So as I was prepping today, I did it a little differently. I still have keywords. I'm still doing every day and all of that, but I don't know. I just tweaked my process a little. Tell me if you even see any difference or not. Maybe it's just me. So here's what we got going this week. The new moon will be the big thing to kick off the week. That happens at the very, very, very last part of Sunday. The sun and moon are going to join at the 29 degrees something Taurus, which is the very last degree of Taurus. The sun and moon join up, and then they'll spill over into Gemini with each other, joining Mercury. So that happens late Sunday night. And of course, this matters. Where are you on the planet? I'm in Colorado. I'm Colorado-centric, and that's what I'm thinking. But in the U.S., essentially late at night, on Sunday night, is the new moon. So that's what we're kicking off the week with. And the sun moves from Taurus into Gemini. So new moon, sun going into Gemini. We're on the second little week of the final pulse of Kala Amrita Yoga, which happens when all of the planets are up on one side of the nodal axis. This will be the third full pulse. We'll have a partial one in July. Somebody asked me at a certain point, when was the last time this happened from Rahu in Aquarius and Ketu in Leo? And it was 1859. Pretty interesting. That was right before the United States Civil War kind of was brewing at that time. I'm not predicting a civil war. Don't take it that way. I'm just saying it was a long time ago, and it's kind of a special thing that we've experienced here in the last few months. So this is the moon will move past all the good guys this week. After the new moon, it moves into Gemini, hangs out with Mercury, then advances into Cancer, joining up with Jupiter and Venus. That's going to be really pretty. In the night sky, western sky after sunset, just as it gets dark. I don't know if you've been tracking that Jupiter-Venus conjunction, but it's really pretty. With the moon joining it, that'll be neat. And then the moon moves into Leo, busting past Ketu, and that will end that Kala Amrita Yoga combination. So that's this week. Last week I called it Fated Encounters. I wanted to report back. So it's Saturday, June 13th today. Yesterday was Friday the 12th. Like 2 hours after the moon moved into Kritika Nakshatra, so the moon was in Aries with Mars, it was just like one accident after the other. I just heard sirens. I have a little app that tells me what's going on. I mean, car accident. I hope nothing bad happened to you. I stayed at home for the rest of the day, safety. But it was just an interesting thing I noticed. Like all these accidents happen like within 2 hours of moon moving into Kritika. Anyway, today the moon's gotten into Taurus, and on Sunday, you can see this is a Sunday morning thing. The other thing is I've been thinking about the whole, we're all in different places in the world, and people ask about, well, what time is this going to happen? There's apps. You can go out and find these exact things. But maybe why I didn't feel good about last week was I'm like, well, because on some days, the moon might be in a certain nakshatra right at sunrise, but then an hour later it moves into another nakshatra, and then the tithis are moving. So maybe that's what I've been overthinking this week, is how can I just make it more general and applicable and less location based. So thinking that I did the keywords this week. All right, but I'll still talk about the nakshatras. We'll keep looking. All right, this is Sunday morning, the 14th of June. All right, I'm going to stop again. The 14th of June I'm in the United States. It feels like things are ramping up here. On our country's capital, they're making this big cage match thing for Donald Trump's birthday. It happens to also be Flag Day. But I don't know, just weird energy, I have to say, like very odd. Oh, it's also, yeah, Donald Trump's birthday, Flag Day, and there's this cage match, and it's tomorrow, basically. Also, protests are planned for everywhere. So let's see what happens tomorrow. But thanks, Albania, for protesting for 10 to 11 days in a row. That's how we do it, guys. That's hardcore. Anyway, so tomorrow seems like a big day. Also happens to be the moon just waning right into the sun. So that fighting match thing, I looked it up. It's starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And the moon actually gets new a few hours later, just before midnight. So it's really interesting that whole thing is happening right as the moon is just grinding into new moon status, which feels tiring, honestly. Like the day before the new moon, it's often nice to just kind of chill and relax, because energetically we're just like water and the moon rules that water, and we can feel a little tired mentally and physically as the moon is waning. So anyway, all right, so the Sunday, June 14th, moon and sun in the beginning of the day. The moon is in Rohini, and then it moves to Mrigashira. That's where that new moon actually is, because the sun is in Mrigashira. So the new moon moment late at night on the 14th will be the moon in Mrigashira. But it starts out the day in Rohini. The keyword for this Sunday is finish chapters. Finish chapters. There's a really finishing feeling that I get with ending things up at the end of a lunar cycle. But then we're going to be moving on. So anyway, it's tomorrow, Sunday the 14th. If you're not going to the cage match, you can finish chapters instead. Just wind things up, neaten things up. I'm going to make a note here about Jupiter. Jupiter moved into Cancer. You can see on the picture it says 2 degrees 29 on Sunday. So it's actually past the threshold. It's been almost 2 weeks now that Jupiter's moved into Cancer. And I'm really excited about Jupiter in Cancer. Maybe I'm placing too much faith in it. But what I'm finding for myself is I'm dealing with space. And when I say space, I mean out of the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and space, or ether. I've been thinking about space. Jupiter is the ruler of the space, or the ether element. And so what I've found myself in the last couple of weeks is feeling like I don't have enough space, or my space is dirty, or there's too much stuff in my space. So if that's been happening to you as well, and like you're just getting rid of things and clearing, I feel like it's a Jupiter thing. I feel like Jupiter's wanting me to make space and clean things out so that he can have space to grow and move forward. So just a Jupiter thought for you there. All right, so Sunday, finish chapters. Okay, and then Monday, the moon moves. It will be into Gemini with the Sun and Mercury. So Monday and Tuesday, moon in Gemini. Wednesday and Thursday, moon in Cancer with Jupiter and Venus. And then Friday, Saturday is moon in Leo. So let's stay on Sun and Gemini for a minute. The Sun spends 1 month in every sign. Western astrology, we really pay attention a lot to whatever somebody's birthday sun sign is. The Sun spends 1 month in each sign, roughly. So we're into Sun in Gemini. Mercury happens to also be there. Mercury rules Gemini. This feels very enthusiastic and energetic, like it's time to move, it's time to make decisions about my next phase. It's time to connect and network. That's what Sun in Gemini feels like to me. This is the last week of Mercury in Gemini, and then I think it's Sunday or Monday next week we'll move into Cancer with Jupiter and Venus, and that's a whole other thing. We'll talk about that next week. So yeah, just thinking about the next month and the Sun being in Gemini. It's fun energy, actually. It's quickly moving energy. So if you've felt a little stuck, maybe the Sun going into Gemini will help give you a little bit of a push. All right, so on Monday, the moon starts out the day in Mrigashira, but then moves into Ardra. So for the most part on Monday, the moon is in Ardra. Ardra is kind of an intense nakshatra. It has a teardrop as its symbol. Rahu is associated with it. And let's also keep in mind that Gemini is still getting Rahu's aspect. So Monday and Tuesday, with the moon in Gemini, Rahu aspecting the moon and Mercury, things could move really fast, I feel like, on Monday and Tuesday, including your mind and including your mouth. So maybe take a moment just to slow down and make sure you're saying what you really want to say when the moon's going through Gemini. Because Rahu aspecting that whole situation, things go off the rails really fast. So to avoid, it's almost like a Mercury retrograde feeling that I'm getting. So just cool it on Monday and Tuesday. Do what you need to do, but just if you can physically slow yourself down, that might be helpful. Okay, so Sun is in Gemini, and this is the week we're ramping up to the summer solstice. The summer solstice happens on June 21st. That's the peak, longest day of the year in the northern hemisphere. So that's Monday. Monday's going to be fresh start for keywords, fresh start. First day after the new moon, Sun's gone into a new sign. Ardra Nakshatra, Rahu's going to push it anyway, so maybe think about today what you want to start on Monday, because you might get confused come Monday. Tuesday, the 16th of June, again, moon's still in Gemini. It starts off the day in Ardra, but then immediately moves into Punarvasu and goes all the way through Punarvasu. By Wednesday morning, it's in a different nakshatra. So let's think of Tuesday as Punarvasu, which is a great nakshatra, very positive, very light-filled, hopeful preparation are keywords for Tuesday. Tuesday is also Mars's day. I'm going to point out here, you can look at Mars being at 26 degrees, almost 27 degrees. Mars moves out of Aries into Taurus on Saturday, and that will change the vibe a little bit. Mars has been really strong and aspecting the Jupiter-Venus combination as well. This feels defensive. It feels aggressive. It feels intense. So I'm looking for Mars to move into Taurus and kind of root down a little and focus. That's all of us focusing our power and intention maybe on a creative project. So anyway, Tuesday, hopeful preparation. Mars's day. And Wednesday is the 17th. Pushya Nakshatra is going to be the nakshatra of the day for Wednesday. Not much else to say except for the keywords I came up with are create peace. Create peace. This is Wednesday and Thursday moon being with Venus and Jupiter. Seems like good energy. And those are also the days to go out and look after sunset and just look for the moon and Jupiter and Venus. It's pretty. Create peace. The word create is in there because peace doesn't just happen. It's something we have to do. So do that. Thursday the 18th, moon again in Cancer, specifically in Ashlesha. which is the final little sector of Cancer, the sign. I'm coming up with righteous transactions for Thursday. Righteous transactions. That doesn't mean just financial. It can mean me talking to you or any other way you're interacting with people. Just really remember that you are accountable for what you say, what you do, what you give, and what you take. Righteous transactions, Thursday. And Friday. Friday's the 19th. The moon will have gotten over into Magha Nakshatra and into the sign of Leo. At sunrise on Friday, the moon is still behind the gate, in a sense, and will move past Ketu throughout the day on Friday. Final breakthrough. That's the words for Friday. Final breakthrough. So the word final comes because, I don't know, this is intuitive stuff too, but my feeling was like this is a moment to really kind of close a door or leave something behind or liberate yourself from someone, something, and really, really do it. Be done. The other energy that is giving me that is Mars. On this day, you can look at the chart, 29 degrees, 5 minutes, Aries. Mars is about to move on Saturday night. So just finish it up. Final breakthrough. Get over it. Get through it. Whatever you need to do for Friday. All right. The Saturday, the 20th, Purva Falguni Nakshatra comes up. It's a very creative and pleasant nakshatra, actually. You'll notice too that the nodes have gone direct on Saturday. I haven't been mentioning them lately, but those who are watching are watching. The underline goes away when the nodes are direct. I'm looking at true node on these videos in case you're geeky enough to know what that means. When we look at true node calculation, it can show us those moments when Ketu and Rahu are going retrograde. So, and I've been paying attention to those things for some time. So all week retrograde like normal, and then they go direct on Saturday. Mars moves into Taurus Saturday night. Reorient and reconnect. That's the keywords. Reorient and reconnect. The moon will have gone past Ketu. We're now going to be off and running with a waxing moon, free of the nodes. Sun in Gemini, Mars moving to Taurus, Mercury about to move next Sunday. So this overall just feels like good energy this week. I mean, always bad things can happen, but with the waxing moon and then the moon moving through planets that it doesn't mind or signs that it doesn't mind this week, sort of, it feels like we might get some things done, get answers by the end of the week. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for your comments. I appreciate it. It does prompt me to cover things when you ask questions. So I appreciate that. I'll see you next week. Have a really safe and peaceful week. Make peace. Create peace. All right. Take care.